You know, the name of this song is actually only in the movies. I feel like it's the perfect song to use when talking about these people that are only ever going to be gods or anything like that in the movies. Didn't really want to have to hit them with this, but we can't help but have to go through this because people don't learn. That dislike popped up like right off the bat before. Like I even watched the video one time, like somebody like, I think there's certain people that sub to me, and it's just so they can do that kind of thing if I talk about anything exposing their bullshit or enlightening the people of color. It's just fun.
The untold truth about melanin. Melanin is more than just a skin pigment. Not only is it all throughout your skin, but it's in your hair, your eyes, and throughout your entire nervous system. Melanin has a value greater than gold at $450 per gram, while gold is only...
Alright, that's nice when I put it up to 9. I only did that because somebody pissed me off when I had it at 7. I was like, let's go to 9. So yeah, it's like 7-fold. I like 7 because, or 6 or whatever, because it's a day of creation and the eternal day that follows.
$60 per gram. Melanin is literally so powerful, they're attempting to use it in military-grade weapons. We understand melanin to be a super semiconductor of consciousness that connects you back to the source. We understand melanin scientifically to be biochemical sunlight, living...
Melanin is literally biochemical sunlight itself. That's why when I made those increases, like the sky is blue. That's the color of Oregon energy. Like I even have a video of the sun turning blue and all this.
Light. Be sure to follow for a part 2. Reflected light from the Most High Chi Babaji. Peace to God. Olamaso.
Of course, he's a little G. He's a young G. I'm a little bit of an OG at this point, I guess. G just means God, that kind of thing. And yeah, let me show you this other thing before I pretty much destroy Babylon.
Male lions don't always have manes, but sometimes females do. In 2016, researchers observed 5 lionesses that grew manes and started acting like males, even going as far as to start mounting other females. They would also frequently roar and mark their territory. 2 things that are 2016 research share. 2 of them come across a meal. Lions are much more cutthroat and will occasionally even snatch leftovers from cubs. Male lions don't always have manes, but sometimes females do. In 2016, researchers observed 5 lions.
Do you catch this? This is where pseudo-maleism and all that stuff starts to come up. Seems like a male, but it's not exactly a male. There's some males that just don't have a lot of testosterone. And, they're a little bit pseudo, or whatever I guess you could say. So they don't grow a mane. And then there's some females that can actually grow a mane just because testosterone changes. It's just that male pheromone, not pheromone, but pheromone. Well, this is a hormone. Like for some reason I get those 2 mixed up. I keep calling the same thing. But yeah, like it's just got to do with testosterone, and testosterone you're gonna find out has to do with melanin.
Lionesses that grew manes and started acting like males, even going as far as to start mounting other females. They would also frequently roar and mark their territory. 2 things that are more associated with lions rather than lionesses. And the reason was believed to be because of hormonal defects causing excessive levels of testosterone in females. Oftentimes after...
Just in case you didn't get that.
2 things. In 2016, researchers observed 5 lionesses that grew manes and started acting like males, even going as far as to start mounting other females. They would also frequently roar and mark their territory. 2 things that are more associated...
This is why most men like women, right? Whether they're kind of a pseudo-male or whatever. lacking melanin to whatever degree. Oh, but you're gonna find out there's a reason that Abel was, even though he was in the middle of his parents, like light complected and dark complected, you'll find out there's a reason that he's actually got the advantage over both of them, and that's why they call it a white and black checkerboard, and why a lot of things in nature end up around the middle point. But depending on the situation, one thing or another might come in handy.
It was lions rather than lionesses, and the reason was believed to be because of hormonal defects causing excessive levels of testosterone in the female.
Oh yeah, they started. They turned the female lions or whatever lesbo. Same thing happens with women in reality. Some of them are more aggressive, and hormones are hormones. Like some of them have more testosterone than other ones, and I think that's where a lot of that kind of thing goes on. Because then the other ones are probably attracted to it or whatever. So it can literally happen like that. You're gonna find out that females tend to gang up on the males. I don't know if it's jealousy or what, because it doesn't make sense why they would do it, but they do it for some reason. Like maybe they want to get rid of them and just try and run things themselves. Maybe one of them will somehow turn into a male or something. I don't know.
Oftentimes, after a successful hunt, lions will leave the immediate area to give their prey a chance to let their guard down again, which increases their success rate for the next hunt. Researchers tracking African lions noticed that more than 80% of the time, the lions will travel more than 3 miles from the kill site. Basically, lions give their victims time to process and recover from the trauma just to give it to them again. Now that's tough. Here's the biggest lie you've been told about lions. The king of the jungle is really a queen, because the lion pride is actually led by females, not the male. Lionesses are the ones that own the territory and will defend it together, while males typically leave after 2 to 3 years. Which means the females are the landlords while the males are just on leases. Sometimes that lease gets canceled along with the male, because sometimes lionesses will gang up on elderly males and end both their time as leader and time on Earth if they feel like they're unfit to lead the pride. This male was jumped out by at least 10 of his women with what had to be considered homicidal intent. Safari workers did break it up with...
That's real fucked up, man. He's clearly probably, more useful than them still, but they do that for some reason to the OG, man. That's fucked up, man.
the fire extinguisher, but they were 100% going for blood. Doesn't get any better in zoos. In fact, sometimes it's worse.
This is showing you exactly what's happening on Earth, bro. Like why these guys, even though they in nature really are a minority type of thing, you can see them selectively trying to target people of color in certain ways, whatever the race is. Like if they have any kind of melanin, they seem to be trying to subjectify them, likely for human trafficking, to which happens with a lot of people in this country, people all over the planet, really, people of all different ethnicities. But we know who's mostly behind this, these vampire lizard things that are mixing on pretty much all the different ethnicities. But particularly usually Canaanite ones. Because think about it, like in that Enoch story I showed y'all, when the 2 kids came, it didn't say they came from Adam. It's just they were with her. There were 2 bulls with her, young bulls with her. They just came along with her. So maybe one was her child, and then one was a lizard type child, symbolically, I guess you could say. And that's why the lizard child killed him, or I don't know. Because it seemed like their interaction was maybe spiritual more than physical at that point, because it's just they're with her all of a sudden. And we know in the garden there's probably this intermingling going on. For example, that's why her child came out not mixed. Like Abel was mixed. He was mixed between her. She's, darker complected according to the Bible. And then the father was lighter complected. And they mixed, so the kid came out balanced. He was supposed to. But somehow Cain came out exactly like his mother, as if he was missing the father's input. Like she had done adultery, you know what I mean? Like, it's a very slick way of getting the story across without having to be too vulgar. It's just that people in this generation don't seem to understand things like people used to understand things. I don't know how long ago the stupidity thing kicked in, but like, you know, it wasn't that long ago. They were pretty fucking smart, in my opinion. You know, like Tartara and all that kind of stuff. Stuff that was really just a couple of 100 years ago, kind of. Tesla and all that kind of. Seems just recently they've dumbed people down very effectively.
In 2018, a lioness named Zuri murdered the father of her 3 cubs, and zookeepers never really figured out why. One Lion King had Nala put Simba on his back, they weren't too far off. Lionesses are all a sisterhood. They'll even get pregnant and give birth around the same time just so they can take turns babysitting each other's kids. But it also means if you mess around and piss one sister off, you'll have to see them all. Moral of this video, turns out we've been spelling it wrong. It's actually Lion King, because Simba acting like you ran the show is nothing but cat. Did you know lions are kind of racist? Lions with darker manes are considered more attractive in lion society. It's because darker manes correlate to higher levels of testosterone and better overall health. Basically, lion beauty standards mean Starwood.
Say it again.
Lions with darker manes are considered more attractive in lion society. It's because darker manes correlate to higher levels of testosterone and
higher levels of testosterone. That's all it correlates to, bro. That's the thing that makes people strong. That's why, for example, some guy that doesn't even lift like that could do some roids, and now he's, you know, transforming right in front of you, because that's really like related to the power of God to be able to transform. And the reptile has some of that power, and that's why he can do his shape-shifting things to fallen angel power. And they felt they mixed in with Cain in them, and, you know, fucked everything up. Because then they started fighting with each other for dominance and stuff. And normally that probably wouldn't have happened. And that's why they ended up really divided over in Africa. They literally created a whole bunch of different forms of people and what they refer to as animals, which is just like why we have all these type of things, because it was probably an animal, but a highly intelligent animal that's humanoid. Because animals have testosterone to very high levels degree too. Like, that's why animals like tend to like women, but like they'll hate males, like, because the male has testosterone, looks at it as competition. Probably happens with females too, with other females. I don't notice that as often, I think, because of the whole different variations of testosterone, you know, why lesbian. You would be surprised how many women are like bisexual or something like that. It's crazy. This world is quite a freak show, and that's why they legalized it and all this. It's like this animal nature that's in people because of them literally fucking animals and stuff like that. Because of Eve mostly. And then their incest. Eve and Cain did to even do this, and that's why you get real recessive genes. At the same time, they just so happen to attract his son. Like he said, that's a weakness of it. Well, he ain't say that yet, did he? I'm gonna let him say it. Well, I'm gonna say it first so you can catch it. When you're in this, like, as a darker person, the sun fucks with your genetics a little bit more. So, white person, like, your genetics are probably a little inferior as far as testosterone is concerned, but you're cooler. Your body is cooler, so you don't attract the sunlight and cause your sac, as they call it or whatever, to be fucked with by the sunlight and, you know, mutated or whatever. So it's better to be brown, like around the middle point, you know, kind of like how he is to how I am, like to a little more like an olive color. Like, there are people that got so much melanin they look like gods. Like, they, you know how they say the gods were blue and purple and stuff like that. They got people that got so much melanin made of blue and purple. Just to give you a clue.
And better overall health. Basically, lion beauty standards mean Star would have done more than you would know what to do. With darker manes are considered more attractive in lion society. It's because darker manes correlate to higher levels of testosterone and better overall health. Basically, lion beauty standards mean Star would have done more than you would know what to do.
It's melanin.
According to
That's
research
all it
done
is.
in South Africa, lions with black manes reportedly heal better from injuries and survive longer than lighter manes. Yeah, they got that part right. but it also means blonde and light-maned lines get screwed.
And what was I gonna say? That's why they're oppressive, man. They know it's not who women are gonna pick if it's any kind of like fair ball game. So they try and keep people of color, which they call minorities, when they're really the weird one. At the end of the day, no offense to them. I'll just tell them the truth. It's an inferiority thing. It's the same reason this feminism thing is going on, because all these little, I told you, it's the same. That's the problem with being the alpha, is most people just like hate, looking to try and prove themselves by messing with you, like a woman trying to act like she's tough messing with some man, and then she gets equality, you know what I mean? And then all the rest of the white knights, because they're all basically women, they jump in and try and act like there's some good guy or whatever, when they're really just jealous and looking for an opportunity to try and look cool or something like that. If it was just one-on-one, I bet they wouldn't do that.
Actually, they don't, and that's the problem. Lighter males are less attractive to females, meaning it nerfs their chances of having cubs of their own. And because higher testosterone makes better, but it also means blonde and light-maned lines get screwed. Actually, they don't, and that's the problem. Lighter males are less attractive to females, meaning it nerfs their chances of having cubs of their own.
You see? So that's why the population is actually going down. Have you heard about in pretty much all the European nations, and even in Asia, except for China, they're like the only ones that don't have that problem. Where they're like losing people, like as far as population, because people just not even wanting to date each other for whatever reason. It's very strange. They're gonna try and blame us for that because they're jealous that we don't need no damn fertility god. I'll tell you that. Like, we're not like them. We're we're in that Goldilocks zone, not too hot, not too cold, so we don't gotta worry about our stuff getting fucked up.
And because higher testosterone makes better fighters, light mains are more likely to get body and vibe checked by darker mains. But dark mains don't got it easy either. Long dark hair might attract more females, but it also attracts more heat to the lion. Which is why lions with black mains are more likely to have defective sperm. Remember, the reason most animals have...
You see? Thank you, sir. I love this guy. He's just talking about animals, man. Like, it's just coincidental. And I learned a lot just watching this guy's channel. He's very real about it. I'm sure that I never heard that before, because from the other guy's standpoint, it's a horrible thing to have melanin, even though he's like got it valued on the market for fucking like $500 per gram, like sevenfold what the gold was and all that time. That's crazy, bro. So like, you're in that middle zone, you're good, but if you're transparent, you can't deal with this light.
Long dark hair might attract more females, but it also attracts more heat to the lion.
It's like being in, like, real close to the sun. It's too hot. And then the other one, you already know the problem with that one. It's too cold, and that's usually where they end up living, because at the same time they might be colder as far as like not absorbing it and attracting it down there or whatever. But we all know they can't even be in the sun. This guy, he'll at least be able to be out in the sun, so they end up in a colder environment. You see how the way that all lines up? Like, they ended up in the caves and all this evil stuff, but now they got technology where they can hide, pretend like they were somehow the Egyptians and came up with all that technology because they hate these people so much that they literally came from. It's clear that the original people were people of darker skin, because Cain did incest with his mom. I already explained that, and that's why they had all the technology. The fallen angels mixed with them as well, so they got a lot of technology from them as well. They were all over the planet. You can tell from, even though they lost their skin tone, like most of the people south of here, even when they lost their skin tone, they still had black hair, they still had black eyes. Same thing in China, they still have black hair and black eyes, and they look very Negro. Because, that's what they come from. They came from Cain and Cain had a huge head start, so he's all over the planet. You know what I mean? Various different people that don't want to own it, that's where they came from. Even though the science clearly says it, I'll admit, even according to the story, my parents, I mean, I mixed with everything, so, yeah. But like, the Shemitic people were also from that. I mean, Abel came from who? You know, basically, Cain's mom, I mean, Cain's a carbon copy of her. Like, most kids I noticed are like that. Like, the first kid will be a lot like the mother. And then the second son will be more like a mix of the two. And after that, it's like, whatever. It's like a little play out of this story.
Which is why lions with black manes are more likely to have defective sperm. Remember, the reason most animals have their baby factory hanging outside because...
And that leads to what? When they were doing incest in Egypt, albinism and all kinds of stuff, and all kinds of mutations and stuff. That's what you end up with.
Too much heat can handicap you. So because nature's a sick joke, the same thing that helps the lion get laid can also be the same reason they can't have cubs. They can spread the seed, but there's a chance nothing will grow. The more you know. Here's why trusting this monkey can get you murdered. This is a yellow baboon, and he's probably the biggest sellout.
Bonus footage.
Baboons have these alarm calls they'll make to warn others of danger. So if one baboon seems like a lion, it'll make the call and all the others will rush into the safety of the trees. And it turns out other animals like the antelope and the kudu have actually figured out the baboon's alarm system. So whenever they hear and see the monkeys climbing into the trees, they take that as a sign of peace out too. Now there's two problems with this. The baboons know that the antelope rely on them to not get killed, but they also know that the safest lion is one that's already been fed. So now these baboons will play lookout, but instead of warning the others when they see lions hunting, not only will they stay quiet, but sometimes they'll even leave the tree and wander on the ground like nothing's wrong. That makes the antelope think they're safe, that's how they end up on Mufasa's meal prep. And just to make it worse, sometimes the baboons will actually sit and watch the animals that thought they can trust them fall into the trap and get hunted down. And as long as they keep sacrificing other animals, the baboons know the lions won't come after them. It's like being a lookout but going mute when the police show up so you don't end up in cuffs. And since baboons historically hate big cats like lions and leopards, and to the point where they'll kidnap and abort cubs because they're afraid of what they'll grow into, it's literally the animal version of working with the feds. Moral of this video, y'all called him a rat when you really could have just called him a baboon from the bush. Here's why this lion is terrified, and you should be too. He's being chased by a herd of Cape buffalo.
Oh, I love this dude, man. Yeah, man. The animals are like the image you got as well, man. It's always a thing of dominance that's going on. And it's only going on because of what the fallen angels did. Before that, things were much more harmonious. They created a lot of aggressive carnivore creatures through genetic manipulation.